Wadau, natumai mko poa, mko fiti. Karibuni sana ndani ya Celeb Corner KE. So, as I begin the day today, nataka kuchangamsha akili yako kidogo, nataka kukukasirisha kidogo because something has come out from the control of budget and also from the CAs of National Treasury. Honorable John Mbadi was expressed the billions of money that President William Ruto and his regime have overspent and misused the money that currently cannot be accounted for in this year financial budget. Now, kulingana na chapisho ambalo limeweza kuchapishwa na the Central Bank of Kenya, it has revealed a very huge amount of money that is currently missing. Now, Honorable Mbadi, the CS of Treasury, has disclosed on Tuesday that President William Ruto's administration has spent 415 billion unlawfully, breaching the Public Finance Management Act of the year 2012. Nikuulize, you listen to these stories, and when such exposes are made, and you come to sit down and reason. This man tells us that there is no money, that there is no money to be used to develop this country, that we can't go on this path, that we have to borrow a lot of money. The question is, where is the said 415 billion? How did you spend this amount of money? Where did it disappear to? Now, continuing with the same story on the misuse of funds, the report signed by Mbadi revealed that out of 766 billion borrowed by the government during the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Now, let me ask you, which government borrows 766 billion in a year? Alafu, out of that 766, 415 billion disappears. And you tell me that we have a country? I go ahead. Listen, I try every day to educate you on these matters so that when time comes for you to cast your votes again, you won't be deceived by these people that pretend on how they care about us, but at the end of the day, their agenda is to enrich themselves. Listen. The report signed by Mbadi revealed that out of 76 billion borrowed by the government during the 2023-2024 financial year, Kenya shillings 415 billion was directed towards recurrent expenditure, with only 350 billion allocated to for project development. According to the report, this spending violates the legal requirement, which limits the proportion of funds spent on recurrent expenditure to ensure fiscal responsibility. Now, let me ask, how do you allocate 415 billion to your personal use or the use of this money or on the president, transport and all that, yet when it comes to development, you allocate only 350 billion to development, which I am going to tell you how even this development works. In those developments, this money is meant to develop roads, to build schools here and there. But do you know that the companies that also receive the tenders to build these schools and these roads, these are companies that are owned by these politicians, Akina president, deputy president, and the rest of cabinet secretaries and members of parliament. So tell me, how as a country will we move forward if, yes, you have stolen 415 billion, but the 350 billion that is meant to be for the people of the Republic of Kenya and to develop the country, you also have a share in it? Yeah, they have a share in it because they use these tactics of acquiring illegally acquiring tenders to build roads, to build schools, to build certain government projects so that they can pocket that money. Yet, on the other side, their lifestyle is being funded by our money. They have borrowed 766 billion Kenyan shillings in the last 1 year, and this money was borrowed for the sake of the development of this republic. But for 415 billion, which is more which is over half of the money that they have borrowed, is being spent on recurrent expenditure. Recurrent expenditure, these are expenditures that are not beneficial to the people of the Republic of Kenya. This includes funding the office of the president, funding the office of the deputy president, funding president's foreign trips, which he is going on. He is on a spree of foreign trips. I think even as we speak right now, he is in Congo. He isn't in Kenya. Are you getting the point? Now, continuing on this story, because I said nataka kuwakasirisha hii asubuhi before tuanze siku. Now, the 2024 budget review outlook draft paper noted that these represent an 82% increase in recurrent expenditure compared to the previous period, where 227 billion was spent in accordance with the law. Listen, in other years and even during President Uhuru Kenyatta, kwanza during the Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, the recurrent expenditure never exceeded about 200 billion or even 150 billion. Right now, it is at 82% increase. And you tell me we have a country that is being ran by people who have brains in their head. No, we don't. I disagree. Now when we blow the whistle on certain matters, people tend to clog their brains with certain ideologies that this man might change in due time. This man ain't going to change. Yeah, when people like Kebaso Morara or Morara Kebaso speaks against the impunity of this regime, the best thing they see on how to nab these people is by arresting them and filing criminal charges against them, which are not charges that are even senseless. Continuing, and I want you to take a closer look at this. The report also outlined the government's ongoing challenges in raising enough revenue to support both recurrent activities and development projects. Why shouldn't they have a problem in raising revenue to support both recurrent activities and development projects? Because Ruto thought that the 2024 finance bill will pass, and we will be able, as the people of the Republic of Kenya, will be able to fund his lifestyle and the lifestyle of his fellow leaders who are out there masquerading as leaders that represent the Republic, yet they represent their own interests. So right now, he has to go back, borrow money from other countries. Now, after borrowing the money, that money is spent on their personal expenses. Because let me ask you, what sense does it make that the president is traveling to the United States, he is traveling to China, he has gone there with a contingent of about 10 cabinet secretaries, he has carried with him his now partner in crime, Raila Amolo Odinga, and his MPs and cabinet secretaries. Tell me, how sensible is it? How does it make sense when you look at it that in that manner? On one foreign project, the president is said to spend about 10 billion Kenyan shillings. I ask you, how do you think the president would spend 415 billion Kenyan shillings? Let me ask you, this man goes to America, he borrows about 100 billion. On that 100 billion, he has already spent 10% of it. When he comes back to Kenya, this money also he himself needs something from it. His members of parliament needs something from it. Raila Odinga right now needs something from it. Are you getting the point? At the end of the day, we find ourselves in a certain unfavorable condition as a country where we cannot finance ourselves because tunatumia kuliko jinsi ambavyo tunaingiza. Hakuna kitu tunaingiza. Actually, we are spending more than even we are borrowing. Are you getting the point? Now, let me ask you, how do you, in a period of 1 year, you promised the people of the Republic of Kenya that you are going to cut down the public debt to half. Yet, in 1 year, you have borrowed 766 billion, where 415 billion cannot be accounted for, Mr. President. Let me continue. I said I will serve the dose of anger to you this morning. It's on a Wednesday. Nataka ukasirike leo ukianza siku. Tax collection tax collection shortfalls and mounting spending pressure are contributing factors to the fiscal strain. Sisi ndio tulikuwa tufund hii maisha ya hawa watu, but we refused the 2024 finance bill. Now, in addition to the spending missteps, President William Ruto recently withdrew the finance bill 2024, which aimed to raise about 3 or 2 billion extra to support the budget. Now, this has forced the government to adopt austerity measures while seeking alternative funding sources. The alternative funding sources is borrowing. The National Treasury announced plans to borrow more funds in the current fiscal year, attempting to close a 510 billion budget deficit. Listen, our budget iko na how much? A deficit of how much? It has a 510 billion deficit. Are we together until then? You come to think of it. These people expected us to take care of their expenses, to pay for their trips to foreign lands, to pay on how they will continue buying new planes day in day out, opening skyline lines za aviation hapa nchini Kenya. But we refused that. Now they will turn to make this country one of the most crazy, and we will remain underdeveloped for a very long time. If this is the route that Ruto is following. Now imagine they are trying to close a deficit of 510 billion. Wanataka waombe pesa ya kufunga hii 510 billion. But out of that even 510 billion, wataiba tena yote karibu 90% of it. Man, you come to think of how you can rescue this country, or how you can argue a point on how we can rescue the Republic of Kenya right now. Unashindwa kwa sababu shetani ni yule ako pale. Are you getting me? Insider sources revealed that discussions are underway to secure a Kenya shillings 193 billion loan from the United Arab Emirates to finance the 2024-2025 fiscal year budget. Now, Bloomberg reported that the loan is expected to carry an interest rate of approximately 8.2%, though terms could change as negotiations continue. Niwaulize, do you think Ruto put CS Mbadi on the position of the cabinet secretary akiwa mjinga? He knew the burden that comes with this guy being the cabinet secretary of Treasury. Yeah, anataka Mbadi kwe yeye ndiye atabeba hiyo mizigo. Mbadi should be the one to carry the cross as the cabinet secretary of Treasury in the Republic of Kenya. Are you getting that? People like the former cabinet secretary of Treasury, Ndongo, realized what is happening, and they were looking for a way out. So when the Gen Z came in, they found a way out. Even if Ruto would have forced that man to go back to that position as the cabinet secretary of Treasury, he wouldn't have gone back there, because he knew what is happening under the office of the national of the cabinet the Treasury office. Pesa inaibwa. Kenya is being drained of its resources. And I tell you, most of the funds zenye wanaiba, they are not even using them to develop our economy. Most of them, they are being pumped and being hidden in offshore accounts in countries like the UAE, India, the Cayman Islands. If the Panama papers of these people, the Pandora papers of these people are supposed to be opened, then mtashangaa the money that they have stolen from this government. Ni hayo kwa sasa. Hii ni Celeb Corner KE. Hope umekasirika hii asubuhi. Sasa let's go forward with other story.